Live from the City of Angels here on this Sunday morning. You know it. Breaking box office. The numbers are in. We're first to go live with them. And Smile 2 is your number one film of the weekend. This thing came in just about identical with the first one. $23 million on the opening stateside, 23 million overseas, 46 million altogether international plus domestic. And you're looking at a film that really should be higher. Okay, that's why I have, if you notice, the stream is titled that Smile 2 Sputtered. Right? Because listen, it's not that it's a disappointing opening at 23 million, but when this film opens at the same number, first one opened at 22.6, you're looking at really a film that should be closer to 30. Why did that not happen? Because of Terrifier 3. This is a great morning and another perfect example of what the wave theory is, right? Wave theory in box office presented here first back in 2022. And we started this entire endeavor here, Midnight Movie Talk, now in the morning on Sunday for Breaking Box Office. Wave theory is as such. You do not want to be on the other side of a wave that just crashed with a film that's very similar to the film that you are releasing the following week. You really don't want to be on the other side of any wave of a massive film because it takes so much energy, oxygen out of the marketplace. The problem here for Smile 2 is that you're looking at Terrifier 3 that came in, did numbers that we predicted. We nailed the number, right? Actually, we were a little under when it came in. It was an 18.9. We had an 18.5. But that's pretty damn close, right? Because we're the gold standard, damn it. But when you look at the number here of 23, I want to see it at 30. So whatever you're hearing as far as this being, oh, wow, what a huge success. I'm not saying it's not. I'm telling you, though, this should be higher. And the marketplace overall should be higher. The problem is there's a lot of just general people don't care so much about what's happening in the movie theaters right now. Even though we're going to talk about some films that are doing well, like Anora came in and did well in that PTA of New York, LA 6 screens, I think. We'll talk about that in a minute. But really, you're just looking for something big to come in. And the next massive film is going to be Wicked along with Gladiator 2. I don't think Venom 3 is going to be that big. I think it'll be fine. Don't get me wrong, 70 plus million. It'll be better than what we've seen lately, but it's not going to be what this marketplace really needs, which is a massive hit. Okay, so let's go over the numbers quickly, go over the demos on Smile 2. Again, 46 million total, 23 gives us 46 on the global. On average, horror sequels start down 26%, so it's an excellent result. I'm not buying this. This is them spinning the shit out of it. I'm not buying any spin. This film should, isn't excellent. It should be higher. I'm not going to discuss this. This is not in, even Paramount knows that. Paramount sitting there right down the street on Santa Monica Boulevard, very close. Or is it Melrose? Actually, Melrose. Let me tell you, it should be higher. Audience demos, 52 male, 48 female. 40% 18 to 34, 30% 25 34, 70% 18 to 34. Young audiences were big on this. Caucasian 40%, Hispanic 34%, 15% Black, 7% Asian, and 4% other. And most people like the film. The very good rating is 68% on this, 49% definite recommend. I don't think it's as good as the first film, and I think I'm right. Again, it's just go back and watch my reaction stream. I don't want to get into it again this morning. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight. There's a lot of issues with this film, and it comes from a screenplay perspective. It stalls out so many spots. It needs to be tightened up. And there's a lot of stuff that's not clear because, there's so much of it that goes on inside of Sky Riley's head versus reality. Every time we watch a psychological thriller / horror film and you have both things going on at once, you're like, what's reality? And that's the problem here is that Parker Finn didn't define that as well as he should, especially the end. The ending, the more I think about it, the ending's really bad, right? Because it's just like, wait, we're going to put her to sleep. We're going to freeze her and kill her. And then she's back on stage. It's not well written. And again, it's another example of a director who is better as a physical director, right? Making the film than writing the film. And we've talked about that so often this year. You look at Oz Perkins, look at Long Legs, film that's wrecked by that supernatural twist. I mean, not listen, it's not wrecked like Maxine, Ty West, better director than writer. You're looking at a lot of these, especially horror directors, are coming in here and they just don't have the talent when it comes to writing. I'm not saying they're terrible writers; they just don't match what they bring from a technical perspective, an assembly perspective. And I think a lot of people need to understand the difference between those two things. I said that sometime recently, and I said a better director than writer. Someone's like, what? Like, are you retarded? I'm sorry, I got to use the word. I know we're allowed to use it now. Are you or maybe we're not. I don't fucking care. I'll use whatever word I want, and I'm not going to be policed by you, so don't worry about it. There are some people that just aren't very bright that hang out in the film space. They play dumb. What do you mean better director than writer? I don't know. Shut the fuck up. Are you really that? Film Twitter, can I just hammer film Twitter as we continue here? I'm just going to do it because I do what I want. I'm not Grace Randolph. I'm not reading a teleprompter. Film Twitter is full of the most completely clueless human beings on this planet. I've never seen a collective group of people that are so out of touch with reality and so unplugged with what the average person thinks than any given member, card-carrying holder of Film Twitter. Embarrassment. I don't want any part. And don't ever lump me in with those clowns. Yes, clowns. They're literally clueless. Sorry, guys, I got to do this shit because I got to explain. Every time I have to hammer a film, I get some idiot coming in going, well, I don't understand what you mean. Is it because you're dumb? Is that maybe why? I'm thinking that might be the reason. Smile 2 over-indexed in the West, South Central, Southeast, Northeast, and under-indexed in the mountain region. I love when they give us the over and under-indexed by region, so we can try to break it down. In the mountain region, they're not big on Britney Spears possession films, but everywhere else, they seem to like them. Canada came in with a strong market share of 9.6%. 8% of locations. Major markets over index include LA, New York, Chicago, Toronto, Detroit, Montreal. The only major market that under indexed was Salt Lake City, again in the mountain region. They don't like pop stars possessed. It's not their genre. They like other films, not this. Top theaters: New York, LA, Montreal, Toronto, Phoenix, Orlando, Baltimore, Miami, on and on. 36% of the box office came from premium screens, PLF, that is IMAX, that's Dolby. Actually, they didn't even have IMAX, they had only Dolby because Joker's still in IMAX with nobody in there. Nobody's in the theater. I walked into AMC's IMAX here at Burbank 16. I walked in and I'm like, where is everybody? There was like 5 people in the middle of the screen, and this is like 500 seats, something like that. I looked and where? Yeah, that's what happens when you book a film in IMAX that's bombing the way it is. We'll talk about Joker in a minute. I'm still going off on Film Twitter and Smile. Just let me do what I want to do. Okay, it is what it is. The channel's what it is. I'm not going to capitulate to whatever you want. It's not going to ever go that way. Smile 2 grossed $7.8 million Saturday international, and then $23 million for the weekend. And for a like-for-like basis, 41% bigger than Smile's opening weekend. So I'm not spinning this as like a huge win. I'm not saying it's a fail. I'm just saying I'm not going to spin it. But thank you, Paramount, for doing your best to spin it. Wild Robot is at 10.1 million, down 28%. And a lot of people are saying what I think is actually happening here. Terrifier 3 is getting tickets from Wild Robot. So yeah, the kids are going to buy tickets for Wild Robot, and they're walking into Terrifier 3 as this film is now down only 51%. Pretty solid, right? Anytime you're around 50%, you want to be better, but that's better than we sold Joker 81, right? So Terrifier 3 holds. Perfect timing on this film. Over $36 million on the box office. $2 million film. Huge success. Go back and watch a reaction stream if you want to know my thoughts on that film. I have issues, obviously, with the level of violence, although a lot of you want to celebrate that. Fine, go for it. I'm not going to get into that this morning. We already did that on the other stream. But I think that's what you're seeing here with Wild Robot still holding, even though, yes, there is Terrifier people buying tickets for Wild Robot. But also, it's the only Wild Robot, the only film in the marketplace that's really for families other than Beetlejuice. And because of that, you're looking at an option where people on a Saturday, like, let's go to a movie, let's take the kids. And that's where Wild Robot's doing well. Obviously, over 100 million on that domestically, almost 200 million worldwide. So that's a pretty good success. It's not a runaway smash, but it's not going to lose Universal money, and we'll probably get a Wild Robot 2. We're getting a Bad Guys 2. So I think we'll get one of those down the road. And we also are getting a Migration 2, aren't we? Any animated film that does at least breaks even, expect a sequel, because at that point you've established something and maybe we can go back in and mine some more cash. Let's talk about Beetlejuice. It is number 4, only down 32%. It's on digital. Doesn't matter. Perfect timing on that film, rolling into Halloween. Don't love that film either. It's been a really bad year, guys. I sat through We Live in Time. We'll talk about that in a minute. Been a bad year this year, man. Across the board, this has been, if not the worst year for film ever, it's certainly in the top 5 ever. I mean, it's truly painful to sit through everything, not everything. Majority of things I've sat through this year have not been good films, but yet I'm being told films like Anora, these are great films. Really? Anora's the best picture. We're so broken. We're so broken if Anora's the best picture. Just know, in film Twitter, yeah, you're broken to even think Anora's good. So let's make sure that's clear. We Live in Time is number 5, 4.5 million on that. And that's the expansion. A24 put it a little under 1,000 screens. When you look at We Live in Time, you're looking at about 4,200. Let's pull up the top 10 right now, and I can get to some of these numbers and look at it. You can look at it too. Here we go. Bang. Here we go. So we're looking at We Live in Time at 4,250 per screen. Listen, that's not great. It's better than 1,500, which is what we saw these films come out last week, like The Apprentice and Saturday Night. They came in at 2,000, 1,500. It's better than that, but 4,250 still not as strong as you really want to see. And it goes back to what we talked about last week, the death of small films. Small films will never be as big as they were pre-COVID because of streaming, because of the fact that they're giving these things to streaming, Joker, in weeks, right? And once you establish that, people say, I'll just wait for We Live in Time. It'll be on streaming in 5 weeks max. I can wait. So that's why these numbers, and trust me, go back to a film from 2015, 16, a smaller film like a We Live in Time. Not all the time, but a film with major stars in Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield is going to do better back in 2016 than 4,250 per screen. So it's the thing is, guys, you gotta understand. THR, Variety, Deadline, they spin stuff for the industry. They want to be a cheerleader for the studios. I don't want to be a cheerleader for the studios. I want to say reality. That's why we're better than them, because we don't have to adhere to some kind of propaganda that they want to spin. This is what it is. And again, back to Smile 2, not a fail, but should be higher. Should definitely be at 30 million. They got hammered by Terrifier 3. Paramount did not expect that, and that's what happened with that film. Anyone else is not even telling the truth if they're not talking that way. I'm sure Grace Randolph will not mention any of that because she's completely clueless, and not to mention it's not in her teleprompter. She has to read. So here, where's the, that I didn't write that, so I can't write. Watch her. She reads a teleprompter. It's pathetic. We look at Joker. Let's go look at the drop again. Joker's down 69% again this weekend, another 69%. It was only at 2.2 million. I think that was the number this weekend. And globally, as we look at this, 192, it's going to finish at 200 million. We called that weeks ago. 200 million means it's going to be down 80% versus Joker 1. Over $1 billion for that, 200 million on this film. China opened this weekend, and it was the number 2 U.S. title behind the re-release of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is how bad it is. It's the number 2 U.S. title behind a re-release of a Harry Potter film. It's not going well anywhere. At least, though, the overseas numbers are stronger for Joker 2 than they are stateside. We're only at 50+ million here stateside, 192 worldwide, much better 135.5 overseas. And that's where it doesn't happen often, right? Where you see the international cash almost 3x domestic. Twisters was one of those 2x international, played much better here stateside than it did overseas. So it really just depends on the film. You really want to see a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2, but Joker's one of those weird films along with Twisters. You just flip each one. One did better domestic international, the other one international domestic. But yeah, that is a really bad result for Joker, one of the biggest bombs of all time. I want to mention this. Anora posts the best PTA of 2024. What does that mean? Per theater average, 60, make that $90,000 per screen at 6 locations. So 90,000 per screen is very strong. Okay. This is, I can't believe I have to say this, a best picture contender. Fuck, man. I'm telling you guys, wait till you see Anora. The rest of you who aren't in New York and LA, just wait. You'll be coming back like you were for Poor Things. Or the Poor Things a better film than Anora. It is. It's a better made film. This is wow. I mean, this is something else. This is next level overvaluation, overvaluing a film on Anora. I mean, listen, but 90,000 per her is strong. But here's what I want to tell you. Remember, we talked about the death of small films last week. Here's what the deal with Anora is at 90,000 per screen. Go back even to a year ago, and you look at Asteroid City, 140,000 per screen. So we're down $50,000 per screen on the biggest PTA of the year to year. You see, this is what you get from me and no one else. No one else. You think Grace Randolph doing this shit? She's got her movie math, reading teleprompters, boring you to no end. She's so dull, so uninformed with half of her takes. Her reviews are erratic. She's our schizo critic. Remember, one time she gets it right, the next time she couldn't be more wrong. That's Grace Randolph with her movie fucking math. But back to Anora. When you're down $50,000 year to year on your best PTA of the year, that tells you small films are in trouble. You see, guys, it's right there for you. No one else wants to do this work, but that's why we had the stream last week. Go look for it last Sunday night, The Death of Small Films. Saturday night is going down hard. That's Sony's film. It's only at $700 per screen this weekend. Last weekend was like $1,500. These small films have now been detonated by studios giving you them at home within weeks, and people are like, I'll just wait. Why am I gonna bother to go see this little film that I know I'm gonna get at home and watch it in almost the same way? Listen, I love going to movies. I only see movies in movie theaters. When they send me a screening link, I pass and I say, when's it going to be at Burbank? I'd rather watch it there. We Live in Time, coming up tonight, MMT evaluation. I sat through it last night in the theater. I probably would have turned it off at home. At least I watched the whole thing. Not a great film, not the worst film, but another film of 2024. Why did I bother sitting through this film? Let's talk about Deadpool Wolverine. It is now the 12th biggest film ever stateside. It takes out Barbie this weekend, finally, as that is the runaway success story of the year. Deadpool Wolverine, along with Inside Out 2, Disney with 1-2, right? And we called it. We said $1 billion film, over $1 billion, well over $1 billion right now. And I knew it when I saw it. Everybody who said, oh, I nailed it. I told everybody it would be a big hit. Now, I was wrong about Joker. I'm not going to tell you I wasn't. It's a better film than you guys say it is, but I was completely wrong. The film completely bombed. I can't spin that. It's a total, utter destruction for Warner Brothers. Top 10 as follows. If you missed the beginning of the stream, let's go over it quickly. Smile 2 at 23 million, 6,300 per location, almost identical to the first one. I want to see this at 30, not at 23. Therefore, it is underperforming for me. That's how I'm going to score it. It is what it is, and that's the reality. Tell Paramount that I'm right. Wild Robot, number 2, down 28% at 10.1 million, 101 on the domestics alone, 200 million essentially overseas included on Wild Robot. Terrifier 3 now at 36.2 million, down 51%. It's your number 3 film with 9.3 million. We Live in Time, as I mentioned, 4.2 million, 4,200 per. Okay, not the worst, not the greatest. Don't let A24, by the way, I think I have A24's. Let's pull up A24's email real quickly before I here we go. The romance is back. We Live in Time continued to impress with the best platform expansion of the year. But again, the best platform expansion of the year is not that great, 4,250. By the way, they say it's John Crowley's timeless love story. Let me tell you guys, just wait for the evaluation tonight. Timeless. This feels like a movie. I'm going to give you guys a little teaser. This feels like a movie that was packaged by agents, right? Let's get two of our clients together, Garfield and Pew. Gen Z seems to love them. And let's put them in this sappy Lifetime movie, and then we'll make some money. That's what this is. That's exactly what I sat through last night. But they're spinning it as the sleeper hit of the fall. But it's not that big of a hit. Again, we're now lowering expectations. That's what the studios now they're pushing the fact that when a film does okay, it did great. No, it didn't. Number 6, Joker down 69%, only 56 million stateside. Piece by Piece down 45%, only 7.6 million on that one. Who wants to see that? Who asked for a Lego documentary on Farrell's life? Farrell, whatever it is. I don't want to see it. I heard someone sat through and said it's so boring. I go, I don't want to watch that. Why even make that film? Like, what's the point? Unless you want to lose money. I don't think it costs that much, but still. Transformers 1. There's some movies I'm just skipping this year, guys. I'm sorry. I was going to skip We Live in Time, and I had a free A-list, and I said I might as well use it on something. It was that or The Apprentice, and I figured why not watch a movie at least people are sort of talking about. Transformers 1 is 8, 9 Saturday night, and 10 is Nightmare Before Christmas. Crazy, right? It comes back into theaters as the re-release has made almost $5 million. Really smart by Disney. A lot of these re-releases have been very good. Coraline, same thing, right? This year, very strong. Tonight, I want to talk about Daniel Craig hammering Netflix. That is incoming this evening on the big show. We were the first people. No one else was. No. No one was in the space saying fuck Netflix. Why am I stopping myself? I've only said the F-bomb like 100 times this morning. And no one said that except for us because they have no theatrical plans outside of a few theaters, indie theaters here and there that you have to drive 45 minutes to. So we were the first people to say that. And now the industry's finally coming around to MMT and realizing we were right again, like we always are, like you'll be on Joker Folie à Deux in a few years. When you watch it again and go, I was too hard on this film. And actually it's a well-made film. I think it's pretty solid, even though it might not be what I wanted, but it is cinema versus a lot of these films that I sit through this year, not cinema and painful and torturous and all of these things. So we'll talk about tonight, along with Nolan going back to Universal versus Warner Brothers. That story is curious. And then We Live in Time, full MMT evaluation of the Lifetime movie under the guise of a cinephilic entry. Yeah, bullshit. That's coming up tonight, live from the City of Angels. Peace out. Have a great Sunday. See you back here tonight for MMT. I'm out.